I don't understand why people send meeting invites with no agenda. So let's talk about the importance of the agenda and some best practices. So let's get started. So when it comes to meeting, there are some best practices that I wanted to share with all of you. So the number one is the meeting title and the agenda. If you have a meeting that is going across a larger team, and if they have so many meetings in their calendar, by having the project name at the beginning helps them see the meeting that this is for this project and this is the high level topic. For example, if you're running a status meeting on a weekly basis for project X, then you want to title it as Project X status meeting. That way all the recipients know that this is the status meeting for this project. So by having that title in the project, when somebody is looking at 1 week view, it just stands out, and without opening the meeting, it's easy for them to understand that this is a status meeting for Project X. And then the attendees. If you don't need the entire world to participate, then don't include just for the sake of including. If they need to be kept on need basis, you can always send out emails and publish meeting notes in a common place where they and the attendees have access to the meeting notes after the fact, and they don't have to just join and listen in. If you're not collaborating with all the participants in the meeting, then what's the point of blocking everybody's time? So be mindful of who you want to participate in the meeting and send the meeting invite only for those, and keep others as optional, and if they have time they can join. If not, not a big deal. Keep the meeting short, and if it need to be ended early, you can do so. If you have a 1 hour or 30-minute meeting, and if you have accomplished what you set this meeting up for in just 10 minutes, then there is no point in extending or continuing the conversation just for the sake of completing that 30 minutes. Alright, so now coming back to the meeting agenda. I have seen so many meetings that comes, it just says in the meeting topic, let's discuss about Project X. But it doesn't clearly say what exactly you want to discuss and if there is any expectation, right? So here are the pros and cons of not having a meeting agenda in the meeting invite. So we will go over the 3 pros first, and then we will look at the cons. All right, number 1, if you have a well-defined agenda for the meeting, then it gives the attendees the option to understand what they need to prepare, or if they need to extend this meeting to someone else who might know the topic. So let me give you an example. I have to have a meeting recently with senior leadership, and to get their calendar was impossible. So I found a time on the calendar which was 75% of the attendees can make it, but I was still not sure if they're going to join. So I put the questions that I wanted to cover in the meeting. So instead of interviewing and asking that questions during the meeting, I put these are the things that I wanted to cover, and I sent the invite. None of them were able to join that meeting that day, and I got declined and tentative reply for those meeting invite. But the good thing is, for all the questions that I put in the meeting invite that I wanted to cover, they were able to respond back with the detailed answer for those questions, even though they declined the meeting. So essentially the purpose of the meeting is served because those questions are now answered when they decline the meeting, and I have what I needed. Number 2, sometimes you may have received the name that you have to invite, and they may not be the right contact, or they may not have the right information that you're looking for. If that is the case, once you see the meeting invite and the agenda, they can forward it to the right person, and you don't have to waste your time during the meeting finding out that the person you have invited have no clue and we need to add someone else into the meeting. So that wastes everybody's time, including the meeting organizer's time. Number 3, by having a detailed meeting agenda, all the participants are well prepared and they know exactly what they have to contribute, and if they have questions, they have an opportunity to collaborate and ask those questions during the meeting. So those are the 3 key elements or 3 benefits of having the meeting agenda in the meeting invite. So now let's talk about the cons of not having meeting agenda in the meeting invite. Alright, so the 3 cons is obviously number 1, the attendees have no idea what this meeting is about, and they have to just wait for the day to understand what it is about. And if they are not prepared with what you want to get out of them, then there goes your time and their time. Number two, let's say during the meeting, if you asked a question to them and they know just basic high level information, but what you need is a detailed and additional artifacts, and the attendee doesn't have that because you don't have the meeting agenda in the meeting invite. So he had no clue that this was coming up. So if you had the opportunity to include the topic for the meeting, then he would have at least been prepared with the additional artifacts that he had to bring into the meeting and do present that to you and others during the meeting. All right, and number three is chances of getting participants. If someone is extremely busy and they have multiple meetings coming on their way, so they would accept the one that they think are important because your meeting did not have the agenda. They don't know the importance of attending your meeting. So the attendee might decide that not to join your meeting and they'll join the other meeting because that has clear agenda on what that meeting is about, and they might feel that that's more important than your meeting. So that's the three pros and cons of having the meeting agenda in the meeting invite. And if there is any takeaway from this meeting, I would say that always include a short title in the meeting invite, because most of the people are not going to open the meeting. If they see the meeting title, they're going to accept or reject. Number two, if they open the meeting invite, they should clearly see what the agenda is. And then during the meeting, always have action items with honor and due date, so that at the end of the meeting, there are things that someone has to do and follow up. They know exactly who has to do it and when it is due, so that they can complete that action and come back. This need to be determined during the meeting so that there is no confusion about when they have to deliver it, because otherwise you will be waiting for something, and since there was no due date, the participant might not be working on it until you follow up, and you might find that he's not ready with whatever you want him to do before the due date. Alright, so that's all I got for the meeting invite and the best practices and having a meeting topic or the agenda inside the meeting invite. And if you find it useful, let me know in the comment section below. If you have something additional to add, put it down in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a like. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because on this channel we talk anything and everything about project management and best practices. I'm your host Nikhil Mohan. I'm a PMP and CSM certified project manager, and I'm here to help you advance your project management career. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.